If you don't get this, you lose.
Dramatic enough? I don't know, but what I'll be talking to you about today is values groups, and this is fantastic subject for discussion for any marketer. I love it so much, so I can't wait to introduce it to you if you haven't heard about it yet. So let's take a look and see where we end up. General idea, values groups. It's an effective way to group your target audience so that you can communicate with them more effectively. Simple as that. Nothing extraordinary. It's probably one of those takes at your ideal customer profile or your perfect customer or your ideal customer. There's so many phrases and names and whatever for all of those things. And I generally think that marketers have too much jargon going where the message is simple. It's basically groups of people that buy from you, okay? So how do you talk to them? Well, one way to go about it is to split them into those groups. And how many groups are there? I hear you speak or ask, I think, actually. Three groups. Before we go any further, I want you to imagine a square, because every one of those groups that I will mention to you today have different use for that box. Bear with me. First one is settlers. Oh yes, they settle. So settlers love to sit inside that box. Anything that's outside of that box doesn't matter. It's scary. It's a threat, well, potential threat. So they don't really stick their neck out. They sit inside, they enjoy the bubble, they enjoy the comfort zone, they love family, they love status quo, and that's how they exist. It's simple as that. But one thing to know about settlers is that they are extremely wary of the price. They want things the cheapest possible. So you can't buy them with value. You have to literally put the price tag that's the cheapest on the market if you want to get their attention. That's all you have to know about settlers. Next we have prospectors. Prospectors are okay. Probably most of us are prospectors, I would say, at least in the digital world. Prospector is still in the box, but they press on the edges a bit. They test those boundaries. They don't necessarily step out of the box. No. They just push them a little. They usually follow up on trends. They care about their social status, so that's why they would buy expensive cars or show off things like clothing or watch or whatever that is meaningful to them. But they still don't really innovate. They use what's out there, but they want to be first to use it so that they can, well, create that image of themselves that's to their liking. Similarly to settlers, prospectors are scared of failure. They don't want to be seen in a negative light. So the worst thing you can do to them is embarrass them in front of everybody. They just can't handle it. Bring on a pioneer. A pioneer is a beast. Okay, so pioneer lives out of the box, doesn't care what people think. He's brave. He wants to conquer the world. He is the one that sets the trends. He is the one that people follow. He is the man. I think the best part of being pioneer is that you don't really care about all the glamour stuff. You don't care about social status. You know your own self-worth, and therefore you can do great things. Naturally, first thing that comes to mind as a label for pioneers is that they are in fact those early adopters. They love to test new things. They love to get most out of the life, and they would always put themselves on the line, hoping for that new experience, new craving, and therefore push the civilization forward, the humanity forward, and then the rest will follow. The prospectors will follow, and then finally, once things settle down, settlers will kick in. So that's it. We have three groups: settlers, prospectors, pioneers. These are values groups. I wonder, what are your customers? Which group do your customers fall into? So if you think about, for example, Tesla, you can easily imagine that pioneers are their target audience. 100%. This is no question asked. But if you think about maybe soda drinks, I don't know, Pepsi, Coke, settlers? Hell yeah. I wonder, where does your product fall into? Like who does it attract? Settlers, prospectors, or pioneers? One trick is to understand that you can shift between those categories. Yes, you are primarily one of those. Every one of us is and can be classified into one of those shelves, categories, or bubbles, how you call them. But on an instance, when the need is there and there is a good reason, people can upgrade themselves temporarily. Because you're a settler, it doesn't mean you will never really become a prospector just for a second. Say there is something unexpected happening in settler's life that needs them to muster up that courage and actually push themselves out of the comfort zone. In that moment, they become a pioneer or prospector. Depends how far they push themselves or what the situation demands of them. But that just for now. The minute they are there, they can't wait to go back. We are one of those groups, but then we can transition between them whenever there is a need. I don't think you can scale down. I don't think you can go down in hierarchy. So if settlers are at the bottom, prospectors are in the middle, and pioneers at the top, I don't think pioneer can become a prospector and prospector can become a settler. You always go one direction up. But regardless, it's an interesting thing. I really like to look at the market that way. And frankly, we learned about it when we did a rebranding exercise, and the guy who did workshops with us asked those questions, and he was a huge fan of that values groups model. He introduced it to us, and it made our marketing decisions so much easier, and it actually created that solid direction for our company and the offering, and it helped us understand who actually we sell to. It's a great enlightenment, I would say, and helps to save a lot of money, because otherwise we would be wasting budget on people who don't care about our product anyway. So why do that? We are very innovative, very progressive companies, so we are definitely targeting pioneers, maybe prospectors who are just on the fence. I don't know, but mainly pioneers. What about you? Let me know in the comments. I hope this was somehow useful, somehow helpful. I wonder if that changes the perspective on your own customers now. I can't wait to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. It was awesome. See you in the next video. Bye bye.